In the United States and Canada, there are many social service programs community members can access to. There are programs for people who need food assistance, those looking for clothes for the winter, or mental health services and legal advice. But often this patchwork of resources can be hard to navigate, especially for someone like a single mother looking to meet various needs for herself and her children in the midst of numerous challenges. This is why 211 exists. When someone calls 211, they chat with a specialist that understands their various needs, who can connect them with the service that they need. In the midst of the global pandemic, with ongoing information, natural disasters, and more, it's imperative for 211 providers to be able to connect with their communities and provide them critical information in real time. It's incredibly valuable for an organization that knows and really can serve various needs and can connect them to exactly what they need. Especially in the midst of a crisis with ongoing misinformation, natural emergencies, and challenging social programs, it's imperative for 211 providers to be able to connect with their communities and provide them critical information in real time. It's in these moments when having accessible channels like SMS and voice means more community members know where they can go for mental health services, financial help, and more in times of need. I'm Quentin Askew, President and CEO of Maryland 211, joined by my friend Sean Garrett from United Way Metro Chicago. Today, we're having a conversation around how 211 programs use digital communication to scale and help more people and meet increased demand. We'll also share how working with Twilio and partners like Terazo, a goal systems integrator partner of Twilio's, allows nonprofits of any size and technical capacity to do the same. I'll pass it off to my friend Sean first to introduce himself and his organization.
Great. Well, thank you, Quentin, and hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sean Garrett. I'm the president and CEO of United Way of Metro Chicago, soon to be the home of the newest 211 in the country. So really looking forward to our conversation today, as I know we have faced some similar challenges, and looking forward to learning some of the creative ways that 211 Maryland has really responded to an increase in needs over the last couple of years. So Quentin, can you start with telling me a bit about Maryland 211 and the challenges you faced over these last few years?
Sure, absolutely. So at Maryland 211, we are focused on being the central connector for health and human services in Maryland. And so, we just want to make sure that individuals across the state can connect to the services that they need. One of our most recent programs and partnerships was with our Maryland Department of Emergency Services. So at the height of the COVID pandemic, like many 211s across the country, we were tasked by our governor to be a central contact point for Marylanders who needed access to information. So we also partner with our emergency management partners to get factual information out. In Maryland, we are, considered a trusted source. And so there was a messaging platform that was in place during our statewide emergency that was used to try and get text message information out. Because of the scale, quickly how things scaled and increased in individuals signing up after the governor's announcement, it was hard to get information out. So it took almost 2 hours to get a text message out just because of the volume of folks that have signed up. So, as you know, when we're talking about public emergency, critical information, we need to get that information out fast. So that's really one of the reasons why we transitioned our SMS texting service to Twilio. So Twilio for Salesforce, it helped reduce our texting time. So we literally went from hour to 15 minutes, right? And so that immediate difference was seen, so that we can get folks the information that they needed. Within a week's time, we had over 200,000 folks subscribed, and we got that information out quick.
That's incredible. And congratulations to you and your team. It's so interesting to think about how what might seem like a relatively small change has made such a big impact in your community. Um, Now, I know I can speak for us here at United Way Metro Chicago, but probably many folks on this call who can relate to not having one of the largest technical teams out there, and maybe wondering how feasible it is to do what you all have been able to do. What did it look like to implement this?
So keyword is, technical team, which we didn't have a technical team. It was just, myself and our operations director at that time. And so I'm probably the least technical person on the staff. And so I think, our ability to work with Twilio and Terazo really allowed us to, work as a nonprofit, but use their skills and expertise to do the technical work. Most of the time, it took about 2 months to get implemented, but most of that time had nothing to do with the build. It was really just the application process and getting our custom text code. So we were really able to sit back as a two-person staff at that time and really watch Twilio work. And so they sat down with us, they understood our challenges, and they worked hand in hand with us to make sure that we had a solution that was right for Maryland. So, and again, given my limited tech resources, we were able to pull Terazo, a trusted partner with Twilio, to really open up the possibilities for us. So we brainstormed, they gave us their expertise, and we were really able to get this platform up and going.
That's awesome. And I know we have appreciated that experience as well. So let's talk about some of the new possibilities that you've discovered. Beyond transforming your existing emergency system with SMS, what are some new programs digital communications have allowed Maryland 211 to put in place?
Yeah, so unfortunately, with the pandemic, like everyone else, we have been able to really be creative with technology because we understood, that was a quick and easy way to connect with folks. And so we used Twilio and working with our partners Terazo that allowed us to adopt these new iterations. And so as the pandemic wore on, we saw that mental health was a real concern, especially in our Southern Maryland area. Our calls went up almost 200%. There was really a need to get some support from mental health services. And so one of those things we were able to do was really, we were able to work with some of our legislators across the state to create this unique mental health check-in program. And so what that was, which is called 211 Health Check, it really just allowed us to work with our legislators to provide weekly check-in calls for those who were suffering from mental health needs. And so they would really contact one of our call specialists. They can do it by text, by email. And so we would provide a weekly check-in call just to check and see how they were doing. And so our crisis folks were able to work through any de-escalation techniques, but really just sort of be a case manager or a crisis specialist, right, by phone. I think one of the really intriguing parts about this is that, with the automated system, folks were able really, again, just to sign up by phone. They were able to schedule an appointment by text. They were able to be called by technology. This took the burden off of our call specialists of remembering to call someone because, at the same time that the person scheduled an appointment, that was the same time our crisis specialist phone rang. And so the two were just really tied together. So it was really a unique way for us to utilize technology to connect, crisis specialists and our community members together. So what about yourself? Can you tell us a little bit about some of the programs and things that you guys have done?
Absolutely. Like you, when we faced the pandemic, we saw major challenges in our community. And one of the things that we were really proud of was that our partners and our nonprofit system was there and to stand in the ready to be able to respond in ways that were just incredible. But we also saw that our system was not able to connect people to those incredible resources. It was really hard for people to navigate what resources were out there and get access to what was available to them. And that's why we're working to bring 211 to Chicago. We're actually one of the last in the country. So even though we're the third largest community in the US, we're one of the last to actually bring this very needed service. And so as we're looking at how we do this, we know it needs to be mobile, expansive, and adaptive. People have varying degrees of connectivity and different ways that they like to be able to communicate with. And of course, we have a lot of different languages that are spoken. And so how do we build a system that has better reach and that's forward thinking and scalable? Like Maryland 211, we worked with Twilio and Terazo to better support these communities. We understand what we're good at, and that's building relationships and working with communities, as well as building partnerships. But what we're not so great at is technical innovation. We just don't have those kinds of resources or capacities. And so we knew that our job was to bring in the experts. And that's where working with a partner like Twilio and Terazo was so important. They've really helped us work on exactly what we need and understood that we didn't need a solution that was directly out of the box. So many other places that we talked to really did try to say, oh, that's out of scope or that's not going to be something we can support. But with Twilio and Terazo, whenever there was a roadblock, they really saw an opportunity. And there are multiple ways for us to now attack these challenges and really look for new opportunities to constantly innovate on the services that we're providing.
Wow, I see that's a heavy task for you guys. So how did when you building the first 211 for the largest metro within the county, what exactly did you guys build?
So we built a modern contact center on Twilio Flex, integrating SMS web chat and natural language processing. We started with SMS and web chat because it means we can automate a lot of the communications and get folks the info that they need quickly without requiring a ton of staff. This also allows us time to get data back, see where we can improve and adapt before we add voice as an additional channel in the coming months. As I've mentioned, having English as a sole language in our system would significantly limit access for people around our region. And so we've incorporated natural language processing to better serve our Spanish speaking communities. With this component as well, we're able to continue to test out how well we're communicating in Spanish and with our communities and make tweaks as we go along.
What were some of those lessons that you learned in doing all this?
I think one of the biggest ones for us is to stick with what you know well. We know what we do as a United Way. We know the relationships that we have. We know the approaches we can take to build communities. We understand our audiences and our niche. But we also know that we need to bring in experts and experts who can help augment our capacity, bring innovation, bring different thinking. And so really for us, it's do what you do well and then bring in experts who can help really advance that work with you.
Yeah, I understand that. Ours, I think is really, partnerships. And so, really it was power in partnerships. Oftentimes nonprofits, big or small, sometimes don't necessarily connect with technology as much. And so I think, for anyone, it is really, how can we utilize technology as we're evolving and really help it to support our efforts. Nothing can replace human interaction, as we know. But just don't be afraid to use technology to support, to meet people where they are. So what's next for you guys?
Next for us is one implementing this. We're going live in a matter of days, and we're really excited about that. But then we want to learn from partners like you and others around the country, so that we can help build out one of the best solutions for our region, and then scale those best practices all across our network. We're excited that when you're the last one to the party, if you will, you get to learn from everyone else. And so, though we wish Chicago has had a 211 for a number of years now, we didn't. But what we do have the opportunities to continue to learn and innovate from the lessons that have been really learned throughout our country in over the last number of years since 211 has been in existence. And we're just excited to be a part of that conversation now.
That's great. I myself had an opportunity to learn from other 211s before coming on board. And so I think for us, we're going to really focus on the data and see how well we're doing with the impact in these programs that we have, especially our behavioral health programs. Having Twilio and Terazo at the table, I think it will help us to really gather data more efficiently. So we're definitely excited about learning the impact that we have. And so as we're wrapping up, are there other things that you just want to share with the group?
I think we're very similar. We're excited to have Twilio and Terazo at that table with us. Again, we know what we're good at. We know the things that we can bring to that table, but having those types of expertise and resources are really going to help us as we continue to scale and innovate and try to build out the best possible service for the residents of metropolitan Chicago. And so we're excited about it and grateful to learn from folks like yourselves.
We're definitely rooting for you here in Maryland. So, thank you so much for joining us today. Everyone, and thank you, Sean, for sharing this incredible program that you're building in Chicago. I definitely know it will be successful. So where can folks learn more?
Well, they can come to our website if you want to learn more about United Way or any of the work we're doing with 211 at liveunitedchicago.org. And we'll continue to be updating that website as well as links to our formal 211 page that will be coming live any day now. So we're excited about it.
Great. And for us, to learn more about Maryland 211, visit 211md.org. Lastly, if you're interested in seeing the ways Twilio can specifically help your nonprofit or social impact team build a communication strategy for your community, visit twilio.org to connect with the team. If you'd like a partner in building, reach out at twilio@terazo.com to learn more about how they enable organizations to scale. Thanks, everyone. And Sean, it was definitely great speaking with you.
Great to be with you as well, Quentin. Thanks, everyone.